For this week's report, the fire department conducts training exercises. Exeter will host its first accessibility forum to hear from the community. The Stuff the Bus food drive is this weekend. The Select Board discusses police canine units and the bike and pedestrian study. The Exeter Litfest wrapped up after another great weekend. And Parks and Recreation hosts the Exeter Egg Hunt and a final chance to play at Planet Playground. For Exeter TV, I'm Dan Monchek, and this is the Exeter Biweekly Report. Let's get started. Good afternoon, Exeter. Thanks for tuning into the show today. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and like this video to help spread the word about the show and all things Exeter. For our first segment, the fire department was graciously given the opportunity to train in a historic home slated for demolition. Gabe Perez has the story.
Exeter firefighters saw through the roof of an old home on Front Street. This training exercise is a rare opportunity for the department to practice on real buildings within the town. With this particular home approved for demolition in the future, the homeowners lent it to the department to help train their people on important procedures.
We were gracious enough to get this building for training. It's sad to see a historic home be torn down. So for us to be able to get in and utilize those, since our house stock is largely older homes, to learn layouts, and they're all different. They're not a standard layout. It just is invaluable to get into what we primarily would see for houses in this area.
It is definitely harder to get houses like this, so the real hands-on training is a little bit harder to come from. So when we're doing training at the station and stuff like this, we try to make it as real as possible.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've been able to do some interior stuff, so we were able to pull hose lines off the engine and move it throughout the structure, do some firefighter rescues, victim rescues. We've done some overhaul work, so we took apart some walls, and then we were up on the roof cutting holes for ventilation.
On Monday, one by one, different firefighters would take their turns ascending the ladder, practicing their turns using the chainsaw, axes, and hammers to create entry points on top of the roof.
Obviously, roofs have different pitches. The steeper the pitch, the more difficult it is for us to work off of. The shallower the pitch, we're able to walk on without necessarily needing a ladder. But in some instances, we need to step off of a ladder. And by putting a Halligan with a pick on it, gives us a foothold so we can stand on and reach further out to make a bigger hole.
With one shift done, the next shift would try their hand at it the next day. Using a chainsaw, Halligan, and other tools, a coordinated team cuts a hole in the rooftop, releasing hot gases and smoke from within the room below, giving a second team from within the building the ability to see through the smoke better and cool down the room, aiding in finding any individuals left within a burning home. With the roof full of holes and everyone up to speed, it was time to try something new.
In that scenario, they were doing, they call VES, it's vent enter search, so it's a rapid search of a room that we think somebody might be in to check for victims. So what they're doing in that instance, they're trying to get in the room as quickly as they can. And when they're on the ground sweeping, they're checking to make sure that when they come in the window, there's not anybody directly below them. They're sweeping to get glass fragments and things out of the way. And then when they come in, they want to get low to the ground in case there's a lot of smoke that's banked down to the ground. They want to be able to look underneath it and find the layout of the room, because in those situations you can't see anything.
Just as fast as they're in, they're out, with some lessons to be learned along the way. Each day this week, different shifts will take their turns with this building. For some, this is just another day of the week, a refresher on skills they've already achieved before, but for others, this is a new experience altogether.
We had one newer person who struggled a little bit on the roof and just needed to really come back. We did some more practicing at the station, and we came back to reevaluate that.
It was my first time on a real roof, and it was my first time on a roof that was pitched that steep. I was having a really hard time figuring out how to operate the chainsaw close to my face. I'm not the biggest person here. Just because something is harder doesn't mean that I'm not expected to do it. So just because something is harder doesn't mean that I can't work around it and figure out how to be able to get it done. So figuring out ways that I can work smarter, not harder, as my mentor Tom keeps telling me, has been super helpful.
Training doesn't stop the rest of the world, however. With each time they went up, they were brought back down just as quickly, as emergency calls forced the shift to their regular duties. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. By then, hours had passed, and they'd have to try again another time. The following week, Cadence climbed back on the roof.
I was using a size medium SCBA mask, the big mask that we wear on the front. Today I switched to a small mask and all of a sudden felt significantly better. It felt like all of a sudden I had my body mechanics again. I've had to figure out different ways of doing things for myself just because I don't have the same reach as them. I don't have the same length in my legs as them. Last week I ran into issues on the roof. This week I was able to get the cuts done, get through the shingles, and make it happen. So as Tom, I think, has said for the past 9 months to me, at least once a shift, work smarter, not harder.
She did really, really well. So all that practice has really paid off, and she's kind of the one that's really stepped up.
The sacrifice of this old property on Front Street has given the fire department the room to learn, adapt, and develop their skills for when truly dangerous scenarios appear. For newer firefighters such as Cadence, those learned skills become critical when duty calls, keeping our town safer and protected, one roof at a time.
Speaking of the fire department, for those curious about the condition of the dog that had fallen into the river a few weeks ago, Gabe the dog has been sent home safe and sound with his family and is learning not to chase ducks around the park anymore. Up next, we spoke to Exeter resident Amanda Kelly, who is working with the Planning and Sustainability Department about the town's upcoming Accessibility Forum.
Hi, my name is Amanda Kelly and I'm a resident of Exeter, and I'm super excited to share with you the new Exeter Accessibility Forum that the town is putting on. Hopefully this is the first of an annual forum that they'll be hosting. It's the town planner Dave Sharples and the town building inspector / ADA coordinator Doug Eastman, and it's going to be a listening session for residents to come and tell the town everything you'd like to see for accessibility. So the town already has an ADA study done in 2018, and they're working through that list. So this theme is really beyond ADA. What would you like to see in town? I know I've personally worked with my daughter on getting some universal changing stations in town, accessible matting at the playgrounds, a sensory-friendly space at the holiday parade, and lots of things like that that aren't spelled out in the ADA but are accessibility things that we need in town. So we want to hear from you. What else would you like to see?
The Accessibility Forum will be held on Wednesday, May 7th at 5:30 p.m. in the Novak Room of the town offices. Attendees can join in person or virtually via Zoom. For more information, visit the town website, exeternh.gov.
The Stuff the Bus Drive is this weekend. Here's one last reminder about how the Exeter Rotary is working to end hunger in Exeter and how you can help. This Saturday, April 12th, the annual Stuff the Bus food drive is coming back to Exeter. The Community Assistance Center has seen a drastic increase in demand for their services, so your help is needed now more than ever.
Stuff the Bus is critical because of the time of the year that it falls on. The summertime when children are out of school is our busiest time of year.
If you're interested in donating, you can visit Hannaford of Exeter or Market Basket and Shaw's of Stratham from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Saturday. Each of these participating stores will have prepackaged bags full of goods that the food bank needs. For more information about this event, you can head over to exeterrotary.org to learn more. The Select Board met last Monday to discuss several items, including a grant to start a K-9 unit in the Exeter Police Department and the findings from the Bike and Pedestrian Master Plan study. Here's a quick recap from our Meeting Minute series. This is your Meeting Minute for the March 31st Select Board meeting. Chief Poulin and Deputy Chief McCain from the Exeter Police Department came to the Select Board seeking acceptance of a grant from the Stanton K-9 Foundation for the amount of $32,000. The purpose of this grant is to kickstart a K-9 patrol unit for the town. The police dog would serve two purposes: search and rescue and narcotics detection.
Several years ago, we had a person with dementia wander off, and it was many hours until they were found on the side of the river in Swayze. Could have been a very tragic incident. Had we had a tracking K-9, that person would have found much quicker.
K-9s are already in use in Exeter, but the town has to rely on outside jurisdictions to provide them. Having a police dog would make the town self-reliant and capable of deploying a K-9 faster. An Exeter resident voiced her concerns regarding some of the negative aspects of having a police dog in town. This spawned conversation about those concerns.
Your concerns are legitimate. I am assured by our chief and his assistant chief's track record that they know how to do this. It all comes down to making sure the program is solid, has a solid embedded best practices policy, which we do, and vetting of the officer and constant supervision. Because at the end of the day, I'm answering to this. And I'm not going to stick my neck out for something that I think is going to fail.
I trust the two of you. And I also am worried about the implications of enhanced policing and who are we looking for. So like those are the things that I'm nervous about.
I feel comfortable that you've done your due diligence. I think your concerns are legitimate. Yours are certainly legitimate given where we're at right now. But I trust our community, I trust our public safety, and I think this is going to be a benefit.
The board moved to accept the grant with a vote of 4-1. Up next, Scott Bogle from Rockingham Planning Commission was present to discuss the Bike and Pedestrian Master Plan. This plan seeks to make walking and biking safer and more accessible to Exeter residents. It includes 50 project recommendations to improve crossing safety, extend sidewalks to connect neighborhoods, widen shoulders for safer biking, and improve access to trails. While these projects are a big piece of the puzzle, they are not the sole solution. As Mr. Bogle puts it,
it's not just about engineering. It's not just that if you build it, they will come. You also need to do some other things to ensure people are comfortable getting out there.
To accomplish the goal of making Exeter streets more accessible for everyone, the plan is structured around the 5 E's, which includes education on safe road usage, encouragement to bike and walk in town, enforcement of traffic laws, engineering improvements, and evaluation of the plan through data collection.
When we get these reports, we follow up and do what we need to do to get things done. So I'm so excited about this.
One of the things I've noticed is that people are taking their thoughts about these reports from newspaper headlines. Can you folks read the reports? Can I give you some homework? At least read an executive summary, if not the entire report. I have had so many conversations with individuals like, oh, you can't do that. And it's based on a newspaper article that in no way encapsulates what the report is saying.
If you're interested in reading the plan yourself, it can be found on our website at exeternh.gov. The next Select Board meeting will take place on April 14th in the Novak Room. See you there. Exeter Litfest returned to the Town Hall last weekend, bringing together authors, journalists, and poets. We were there to capture the event and have this recap.
The Exeter Litfest came and went this weekend, during a somewhat chilly day in the Exeter Town Hall. Both floors were packed with folks in attendance from all around, who had come to watch and listen to authors and literary individuals from all over. Notable individuals being J. Courtney Sullivan, author of The Cliffs, who kicked off the weekend with a talk with Litfest board chair Katie Adams, with an hour-long discussion about her work. The upstairs gallery had its fair share of speakers as well, with the first of the day being a panel about the world of self-publishing. Both halves of the Exeter Town Hall kept busy throughout the day, as both halls empty and refilled with each passing speaker, including returning speaker Keith O'Brien, giving a talk with Dan Provost, or a group panel discussion about romantasy novels featuring author Jacqueline Benson, Laura Mayo, and Lyra Celine. Guests were then given the opportunity to meet with the authors after their talks, have their books signed, and just talk with them on a personal basis. There was plenty going on around the town hall between the hours of 11 to 5 p.m. While the cold weather kept things nippy, folks continued to persist to engage with the speakers and give the Litfest another incredible year here in Exeter.
And for our last segment, we have information about 2 back-to-back events at the Rec Park next weekend. The annual Exeter Egg Hunt, followed by a send-off party for Planet Playground.
Parks and Rec invites you to join their very special Saturday at the Rec Park on April 19th.
Saturday, April 19th. Join us at Rec Park for our annual Exeter Egg Hunt. We're really excited to bring back this community tradition. It'll start at 10 a.m. sharp with our pre-K division and finish up with our 3rd through 5th grade.
Eggs will be hidden all across the Exeter Rec Park, where children of all ages will be welcome to come and find what secrets they can, including the very special golden eggs.
Golden egg finders will go home with a special prize.
But that's not the end of this special day.
Directly after the egg hunt will be our send-off for Planet Playground.
With the new Planet Playground installation on the horizon, the previous Planet Playground will be no more in just a short bit of time.
We invite the community to join us for one last orbit around Planet Playground before we relaunch the new Planet Playground later this spring.
Planet Playground Send-Off kicks off at 11, where there will be fun and refreshments for all who attend. Expect a day of fun and nostalgia as we celebrate change.
We'd like to invite all the previous donors and volunteers who were part of the original Planet Playground fundraising project to pick up their pickets that will be available at the relaunch. We're going to be launching our Buy a Brick fundraising program to continue our efforts for fundraising for enhancements and renovations at the new Planet Playground.
So remember, Saturday, April 19th, starting at 10 a.m. will be the annual Easter egg hunt, with special rewards and prizes, followed by the Planet Playground send-off, a last huzzah for Planet Playground's last trip around the sun. For more information, you can visit exeternh.gov/recreation.
That does it for this week's report. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to help spread the word. Head over to the town website and subscribe to the town email newsletter to get this show and other news sent straight to your inbox. We'll be back on April 25th for the next edition of the show. For Exeter TV, I'm Dan Monchek, and this has been the Exeter Biweekly Report. Have a great weekend, Exeter.
Yeah!